Staten Island Advance's web article claims that 5 out of 500 workers in a workspace suffer from OCD. Las Vegas Examiner states that OCD is the fear of irrational things. For example, a person refuses to go to a restaurant because they are irrationally afraid of how their food is prepared. OCD is obsessive-compulsive disorder, and 4.3 million Americans suffer from it. LifeExtension.org says OCD is the focus on one thing, such as food, like I said before, or cleanliness, which is another very typical one. My example of like an OCD tendency, this doesn't mean you have OCD, but I have a very irrational fear when I'm driving with someone else because I feel very responsible for their life. But once again, does not mean I have OCD, because I don't. Today I'll explain to you what OCD is, the different causes and ways to manage it. I found all of the following information on lifeextension.org. OCD, by definition, is an anxiety disorder that leads to excessive thoughts or obsessions, which lead to repetitive behaviors. OCD is often narrowed down to one anxious thing, such as thinking of a certain event over and over again until you practically torture yourself, or locking the doors like 25 times exactly every night. OCD can be caused by many things. OCD is usually developed typically due to cognitive or biological or environment issues that you've had in the past. The most common reason people develop OCD is because of the lack of serotonin in their brain. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter in the brain that assists with transmission electrical messages among nerve cells. Genetics also plays a huge role in OCD. It is said that kids who have parents with OCD are 5 times more likely to get OCD than an average person. But many people can manage OCD by one of the most common treatments, which is in today's world medicine, which is very advanced. Through this medication, it is used to support and enhance serotonin in your brain. And although today there are many people who refuse medication and feel natural ways are more healthy, so the natural remedies include therapy and many meditation methods. But once again, not all treatments are 100% guaranteed, because many people's brains work differently. Not everybody is the same. OCD is a common form of anxiety that leads to obsessive and repetitive thoughts or actions due to the lack of serotonin or thanks to genetics. Like I said, if your parents have OCD, you're 5 times more likely to have it yourself. It can come from a very abusive or harsh environment growing up, and that's when medicine probably wouldn't come in handy so much. That's when meditation and therapy could be at a greater advantage. So don't go assuming you have OCD if you could relate to something I just said, or if you feel more obsessive over things, or you could relate, because you probably don't. But now you're more aware of OCD, and if you ever feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety, go to the doctor, because OCD is just one of the many forms of anxiety.